Okay, guys, we're going to move on here to lesson 4 out of Unit 8 here, and I'll try to keep up with you here with the camera. But we're going to talk about one-step equations with multiplication and division, and it shouldn't be too bad. We ought to be able to get through this pretty quick. But solving equations can also involve multiplication and division. I'm just going to abbreviate this, but the same rules apply. Okay, so let's take a look at these tiles here and see what we have here. So I know I have 3x is going to equal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 times 2 is 12. So my equation is 3x equals 12. And the inverse of multiplication is division. So I would divide both sides by 3. This would cancel. X equals 4. So when we look at this, our key, if we wanted to fill that out, is that is x. That would equal 1. And then a filled in 1 probably equal -1. Probably not as important as the other, but let me make sure I'm okay on my camera here. And we're rolling right along. All right. So next up, the variable must be alone or isolated on one side of the equation. Isolate the variable by using inverse or opposite operation. The equation must remain balanced. Balanced, that's really important. Then you want to check your work. Okay. And you can usually just do that mentally. Okay. When we look at that. All right. So in this sample right here, when we look at this, I see I have my equation as 2x equals 6. Well, this is just a mental one, right? So x is going to equal 3. Check it. 2 times 3 does equal 6. We're in good shape. Down here, we're going to work a little bit backwards here, okay? So we're going to come up with the answer. The answer is 2 equals how many x's? 4x. And then what I would do here is divide both sides by 4. This would cancel. X comes down. 2 divided by 4 reduces to a half. So check it. 4 times a half is 2. Half of 4 is 2. Makes sense so far, right? All right, let's continue on and take a look at this next model. Okay. So the next model is just a little bit different. Hopefully you can see that. Let me make sure. Yep. So the next model says use the model to write an equation. All right, no problem. No problem at all. I see I have 8t's equals 92. And if I was to figure this out, I would divide both sides by 8. This would cancel. T comes down. 92 divided by 8 is $11.50. And remember, that was money. Yep. So all we're doing is the opposite. So the opposite of multiplication is division, and the opposite of division is multiplication. Let's continue on here. Okay. So I'm going to divide by 3. X equals 4. 4 times 3 is 12, so it checks. The opposite of division is multiplication. This cancels. X comes down. 28 times 2 is 56. 56 divided by 2 is 28. See, it's nicely, it's just like one big circle, isn't it? So let me check my camera here. It should be in pretty good shape here. All right, excellent. Excellent. Let's continue on. 8 times a number, or 8x, is 4. So I'm going to divide both sides by 8. Cancels. X comes down. 4 divided by 8 is 4/8, which equals 1/2. 8 times a half, yep, that equals 4. Pull that up a little bit. The inverse of multiplication is division. X comes down. 75 divided by 5 is 15. Circle it. Let's check it. 5 times 15, yep, that works for 75. So I don't always write it down. Sometimes I just do it mentally, and that's important. 12 equals x divided by 4. The inverse of division is multiplication. This cancels. X comes down. 12 times 4 is 48. 48 divided by 4, right, does equal 12. Balance beam, tee it up. When I tee it up, that means to divide because the inverse of multiplication is division. This side cancels. I've isolated the variable. 105 divided by 15 is 7, I believe. So 15 times 7, does that equal 7 times 5? 35, carry 3. Yep. Checks with me. Let me check my camera because I've done a poor job in the past with that. And that would be an issue. Let's do that last row. All right. Here we go. X divided by 7 is 4. The inverse of division is multiplication. Cancels. X comes down. That's 28. 28 divided by 7. That's just mental math, right? I should circle these two, hadn't I? And maybe that one. Okay. So tee it up because the inverse of multiplication is division. X comes down. 30 divided by 2.5 is 12. So 12 times 2.5 should equal 30. And that's one where you may have to use your calculator to check. The last one here, tee it up, divided by 12, that cancels. 69 and 9/10 divided by 12. That equals 5 and 8/10. So let's check it. 12 times 5 and 8/10. And since it's our last problem, let's go ahead and use our calculator. So let's take 12 times 5.8. And you get 69 and 6/10. So it all works out. That was today's lesson. Go ahead into the folder and get started. Bye-bye.